Hey guys, so I've been plotting a sort of The Sims slash Inzoi style game for a while now. And I love the addictive gameplay of The Sims, but I freaking hate that whenever I look at that, there's another 300 bucks worth of DLC for it, and it just makes me not want to play it. And so my answer to that is to just get a really good base game set up, and I want to go with an art style that's easy to replicate, so that I can easily add in more content and not have to pay for that, not have to charge, sorry, for that kind of stuff. And of course, the dream would be to get modders into it as well. So something that's polygonal, but it looks good. So I have also been playing a bit of Inzoi, and I really liked that. But the fact is, it's just so damn slow. I felt like the whole time I'm just watching my guy complete a task, and I'm just sitting there for like 5 minutes watching him, practice his programming, because of course my guy's a programmer. And even at the maximum 8 speed, I'm just watching the whole time. So my answer to that is I've got to make the simulation be really optimized, and I need to smoothly be able to ramp it up to like times 10, times 20 speed, maybe even a bit faster. So I need to be able to just skip past that because, like it kills the enthusiasm as well. I've also been walking around that beautiful Inzoi world, and I just felt there's so much that I couldn't interact with. Like it felt there is a lot of stuff you can interact with, but I like saw another house and I want to break in, and there's just a lock you can't get in. It's a impassable wall. And I want to be able to steal a car. There's a car there. I want to steal that. The kind of stuff that, if you're a good boy player, you can ignore all that and not play with it. But if you're doing like the criminal career, you should be able to do that. So I'll be bringing in more in line with like modern RPGs. I've been playing a lot of like Kingdom Come Deliverance where you can steal everything. I want to make it more like that. So the plan at the start, though, is just I'm going to quickly bang out today a really quick playable prototype, or the first part of it anyway. So first I need like minimal versions of all the features. So I don't want to get too much technical debt going. So I've got to make sure I'm still keeping it extensible and addable to. So I want to keep it really extensible and make it easy to add stuff to and alter it later. But I'll be doing things like getting a really basic camera, not getting it perfect, not getting everything I want to have, but just so I can start playing the game, yeah? And the character movement we're gonna have him walking around, but he's not gonna have the full path finding and beautiful animation or anything yet. We just want to get a minimal viable product up first. So we're gonna build from there. Let's go for it. Let's get to it. Let's just call it the Simzoi. The Simzoi. That'll do. We'll think of a better name later. I haven't really used the Unity version control yet, so let's get into that. I usually use Git, but I haven't used this one. So if you're following along, I'm using Unity version 6. I don't think we're going to do anything very fancy that'll care too much what version you're using, but we're on 6.0, the LTS. So hopefully I can stick with that for a while and not have to deal with updates. Wow, Unity loads really slowly these days. It's been a while since I've used Unity, but I don't remember it being this slow. This is one of the reasons why I really want to do a more efficient, sort of really base version of The Sims or Inzoi. I want to make something that has all the basic features, but is really easy to add on to. So we're not going to go for I couldn't if I wanted to, but we're not going to go for the 100% Unreal Engine, beautiful people. We're going to make something that ideally the community can run with. So if they want to make more different character faces and more different hairstyles, it's the kind of thing where people can add to it, and you don't have to be like a ridiculous artist who's been doing this for 10 years in order just to make a character model. So we want to make it very open to mods, then I can focus on just adding all the base level systems. All right, so this is the Unity version control. Let's ignore that for now. Now, here's what we're going to try and do today. Okay, so I've just opened it up VS Code and found my working folder here. And I'm going to make a new text file. And this is where I'm going to track my to-do stuff. So I'm going to have a sort of to-do, stuff I'm in progress, and stuff I've done. And this will let me, just as I'm working, add things to these lists and keep track of what I'm doing. And here's like potential stuff I'll put in. So all I want to really do today, I want to get my camera panning set up. We're going to make it an orthographic. What's it called? It's called like 45 degrees, something like that. I want to get that set up. That should only take a minute. We'll be working from code that I've done in the past. I want to have my character movement. So we're not going to have the whole character and all these wants and needs, but I want to put in a character model and I want to be able to click and have them move. So I'm going to have like the click and move, and I'm going to implement the context menu for this as well, just in the really basic thing. So you know when you click on something in The Sims and in Inzoi, you click and it gives you a list of the optional things you can do. So we're going to start by having that. And I think that's a good place to start, and we should be able to get that and reasonably do that today. Now, all right, so let's save that. Now, first we're looking at this empty thing here. And now we could work with just capsules and planes. And that's, you know, it's fine for getting things up and running, but I find it's not very inspiring. If I'm working with that, I get bored of it really quickly. And to be honest, for a thumbnail for a video, it's going to look really crap as well. So we're going to start by just finding some basic models we can use. Now, I had a look around and I found this one. So I'll show you what I've got. If I go into my assets here, and I found this one, minimal poly free. And it's just two really basic guys. I don't particularly love the style, but it's not too far off what I'll probably want to go in the end. I'm not sure if I'll go for this angled, you know, unsmoothed polygon look, but these are going to be nice and basic. They're going to be not too far off what I want to go with. If I do decide to go with it, this guy's, or girl, Yuki Tsuji, I guess that's a girl's name. Maybe I can even get in contact with them and see if they want to make more stuff for me. I don't know. Maybe you guys know a good artist. I am a crap artist, but I'm using this one. And so first thing I'll do is I'll just import that in. Yep, just import the lot. And now I've got my minimal poly free here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new folder here just for imports. Because I do like to keep the stuff I've just downloaded off there free especially separate, because that's the kind of stuff I will want to replace later. But maybe not. So I think, let's see, prefabs. Yeah, and we've got this. Oops, we need to have the scene open and just drop my boy in here. And there we go. We've got him. And he does actually have an animation controller as well. So he's just right now switching between walk and standing. And that's all we want for now. So this, I'll probably use this guy again for doing quick game prototypes, because that's got the most things I need and he's really easy to set up. All right, let's go ahead and put him on a plane. And we'll just reset the position of that one, make it a bit bigger. And what I'll do is I'll take my main camera and I'll just map that to my current position. That's sort of what we're going to want. And we're going to be working in orthographic. So let's set the camera up now. So I'm going to be setting this one on orthographic, which if you don't know what that means if you look in perspective, you can see when you get closer, things get bigger. And when they're further away, actually we can see it better here by switching this to isomorphic mode. Or isometric, morphic. You can see when we zoom in, even something that's quite far away, let's put a cube in here, it doesn't get any smaller. And you can see on this one, as it gets further away, it gets smaller and smaller, gets bigger and bigger. But from this view, it's always, I don't know, there's probably a good word for it, but that's what we're going to go with. We might change it later, but I think that's good. And it's very Sims like 1 or maybe Sims 2, I think was like that. I don't know if Sims 3 and 4 are like that, but I quite like it. So let's get onto making our camera move. We want to have just pan left and right. When we pan forward, the camera's not actually going to go up and down. So if we find the camera here, the camera's not going to move forward and backwards. We're actually going to need to go forward but stay at the same height. It will have, so forward, backwards, we'll have left and right. The zoom is actually going to increase this, where is it? This one. Oh, put the camera back on orthographic. It's now size. And that's what we're doing there. So you can see what's happening with the camera there is its area is changing bigger and smaller. Rather than moving the, you can see actually move the camera back and forth, it doesn't actually change anything. So I can put the camera way back here. All right, let's get to doing the script for that. So I'm going to add a script to my camera. A new script, and let's call it, what should we call it? Cam controller, I guess. All right, let's make this a bit bigger for you guys. Can I make this a bit bigger? There. Let's get rid of this AI nonsense. All right, so we'll put in a few variables first. So we're going to have public float. We'll have the pan speed. And let's call that 20F. Ooh, I might turn off this AI. I'm not sure if that's helpful for you guys or not. Public, float. And I'm going to make a separate one for the mouse. And the reason for that is I'm going to have... So the first speed, the pan speed, is going to be the sensitivity for moving around with WASD or the arrow keys. And the mouse speed will be like when you click and drag. So that's two separate things. We're going to public float zoom speed. Let's make that 5F. It's public, not publid. And we'll also have a rotate. Rotate speed. And let's make that 100F. The reason I can do this sort of from memory is guess the numbers that I've done this before. And let's have limits to our zoom. Public float min zoom equals 5F. We will be changing these later, which is why they're all public. So we can change them in the editor. Yeah, let's stick with that one. Make it 20F, I think. All right, when we click and drag, we're going to have to remember where we clicked. So there's going to be a private vector 3, and let's call that drag origin. I think that's all we need for now. I might be forgetting something. We can always come back. And we're going to have three functions. We're going to have void. We're going to have handle pan for panning. We're going to have handle zoom for zooming. And we're going to have handle rotate for rotating. And then all three of those, we'll have all the controls inside those. So in our update, we'll just drop these guys in here. Thank you, AI. Yeah, handle pan, handle zoom, handle rotate. Thank you very much. Okay, now pan is the first one. Now, the tricky thing is, I'm going to turn this AI off, actually. How do I turn that off? Hey, how do I turn the AI stuff? Here we go. There. I think it just might be, it's distracting for me. All right, so the first thing we want to do is work out the forward for our camera. Now, normally the forward is the transform.forward, this guy right here. But we need to work it out so it's flattened against the actual world Y. So we always stay at the same height and don't move the camera down, 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 down. And so the way we'll do that, we're going to make a vector 3 forward is going to be, and we got this function project on plane. There's all little shortcuts for everything in this. And we're going to go get the forward of the camera and get our vector 3, whoops, vector 3 dot up. So that's the world up. And we're going to normalize that. And that's it. That's how you do that. And let's normalize the right as well, which we don't really have to do. But that'll handle if in case the camera gets rotated or anything like that. I don't know. All right, let's get the inputs. So we'll just get the horizontal axes. So input.get axes horizontal. So that'll grab my WASD, sorry, A and D is horizontal, or my left and right. And let's get vertical. So input.get axes vertical. And so the move we're going to do is going to be our forward times our vertical. And then we're going to add our right times our horizontal times our pan speed and times our delta time. And then we'll just grab our transform dot position and we'll add our move amount to that. Let's give that a quick go. We can pan right and left. So I'm using W and A, sorry, I'm using A and D right now and W and A. And that works pretty good. It's a bit faster left and right than it is up and down. I wonder if we make it more on a 45-degree angle, if that'll be better for that. Yeah, you see when we're on a 45-degree angle, now it moves perfectly. Let's leave it at that. Actually, that seems too high. Yeah, so I think I do want to keep it on a lower angle, let's say 30 degrees. And for now, I'll just deal with the fact that left and right is a bit different to forwards and backwards. I guess we could put a bit of a modifier. So let's see. Right and left is faster. So when we do the right, let's just multiply that by maybe 0.75. There's probably a math to work out what it should be with that particular rotation. Sorry, because I did it when I was running. Let me put that back on 30 degrees. Yeah, there's probably some math to make this equal. If you guys know what that is, let me know. But yeah, I think that's good. That's a and D, W and S. All right, that's good panning. So now I want to be able to do it with the mouse. And I'm just going to make it an entirely separate thing here. If input.get, what is it? It's get mouse button down to. Then our drag origin will equal the mouse position. So once I click the button, we'll just record that position. And then if input.get mouse, so if the button is, oops. So this one runs one time when the button is clicked. And then this one's going to run when the button is held down. And so what we're going to do is just basically work out the difference between where we clicked and where the mouse is now. And the way we do that is we're going to go vector 3 difference equals camera.main. So that's our camera. And there's a screen, what's it, screen to viewport point. And the 2 points we're going to have is the input dot mouse, oops, mouse position, and we're going to minus that from the drag origin. Well, from that we're going to minus the drag origin. And then we're just going to take our move there and we'll alter it. Move minus equals right times that's going to be the difference dot x multiplied by our pan mouse speed. This is where we use that one. And then for left, I mean for forward, I should say. Forward is going to be difference y and the same mouse speed. And then we're going to go transform dot position plus equals move times pan speed times, once again, time dot delta time. All right, so we get the difference. We add those onto our move, and then we do the move. Let's give it a try. Camera does not contain a definition of screen to viewport point. What have I done? Oops, I think that's not a big P. All right, I can click and drag. Whoop. Okay. That's not exactly what I want. If you can't see what's happening there, so I'm clicking, and as I move, it's continuing to go. And there's not what I want to click, and I want to sort of drag that much. I don't want it to keep going. So I think what I need to do is after I've done this, I'm going to reset the origin. So there is a better way to do it in which you do sort of just remember where you originally clicked it. But I'm going to just do mine as like individual movements, tick by tick. Just because the other way is a little bit more complicated, and I'm doing this from memory right now mostly. And so I want to keep it nice and simple. And I do want to get this done fast. I can always, if the game is looking good, I can go and improve this stuff as we go. Now we just want to really quick and dirty. There we go. So click and drag. And it's not quite, I want to be able to click and drag. And because it's not really dragging, it's just moving the screen, it's too fast. So let's change our pan mouse speed. Let's make it like 60. And see, that is actually almost perfect. You see, if I put it at his feet and drag, it's a little bit, not enough. Make it 60, maybe 70. Oh, it's too much. Did I go the wrong way? It should be 55. See, that's perfect. Well, perfect dish. All right, let's call it at that. So remember, it's 55 I changed it to. All right, now we've got panning with the key and the mouse. What do we got next? We got zoom. Now the zoom is really easy. Let's see. call it our scroll is our input.get axes mouse scroll wheel, I think it is. I'm 90% sure that's right. And our main camera, just put it in cam so I can say cam. I hate writing camera.main, and we go cam.orthographic size. Is that size we're going to change? Scroll times zoom speed. And we're going to have that min and max zoom, and we'll do that with a clamp. So cam.orthographic size equals a mathf.clamp, but cam.orthographic size, which is the source thing, and our min zoom and our max zoom. All right, so that should give us zooming and should give us our min and max. Zoom out and zoom in, zoom out. So I think that zoom out is probably a bit far. So let's make that a bit smaller. Yeah, I think, what's that? 9 is pretty good for now. And now zoom in, I think that could be a bit further. Let's make it 2. Yeah, I think that could even be 1. Yeah, so that's 1. That's 9. And you can see the size changing right here as I do it. Yeah, I think that works well for now. All right, so 1 and 9. All right, now we've got zoom. Last is rotate. Now for the rotate, I'm going to make a simple one where it just rotates the camera. In the future, I'd probably want one where it rotates sort of around this point instead of rotating on the camera point. But that's a little bit more complicated, and I really just want to get something sort of quick and dirty right now. And so we just go our rotate number, 0f, and let's go if input.get key code.q, and we'll go rotate equals -1f. So I will go and probably, if I like this game, make another axis for this. Because if you use this axis system, then you can much more easily make it so a user can change these keys, where it's not great to have them hard-coded as specific keys. But yeah, let's get this going first. Let's see, rotate times our rotate, yep, rotate speed times our time dot delta time, and it's in world space. All right, so Q and E should rotate for us now. What have I done? What? Oh. I pressed Shift 7 instead of Shift 8. Well, my camera rotate looks like it's working, but I have no idea what's happened to my zoom. Are we starting outside the... Oh, I put the max zoom 1 to 0. Should be 1 to 9. You guys probably saw that. Why didn't you say something? All right, so we can pan with the keyboard. We can pan with the mouse. We can zoom in and zoom out, and we can rotate. And you can see why I don't really love the idea of rotating around the camera. It's not the best way to do it. And that rotates really fast. Let's make that like 30. Yeah, so now I can handle that myself. Yeah, not ideal for the rotate. I don't really love that. What we really want to do is project sort of a point here and rotate around that. But it's a bit trickier, and I'm probably not going to play with the rotate that much. It's good enough for a first go. All right, now what I want to be able to do is to click and get a little context window come up, which will have different buttons. And for now, the button's just going to be move to, so move to that position. So we need to go and UI, and we're going to create a panel. It's made a canvas for me as well, and we're just going to call this context menu. Sounds good to me. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the pivot in the top right. We're going to give it a rough size of what, 100 and 100. I'm going to put it in the middle now so I can just see, because this is when you click, basically it's going to appear. We'll have automatic sizes later. But for now, let's just make it, whoops, like that. And let's put a button on there too. I will have to do some more research on this. Import TMP essentials. All right, I got my button. So let's make the button fit in there. All right, and that button is going to read move to. So we're not making it pretty or anything yet. I just want to have this menu opening, and we'll work out a programmatic way to add buttons to it and make it resize and do all that stuff later. For now, I just want it to come up, and I want to be able to press that one button. And what I'll do is let's make another. All right, let me make a folder for my scripts. So what I usually do, I make one folder for my scripts, and then later on, once I've got a few scripts in there, I'll start. So I'll just put my camera controller script in there. And as we get more scripts, we'll break this up into folders. So I'm just trying to decide whether I'll have my basic UI in my camera controller. No, let's be good. Let's be good. So let's make a new C# script. And let's call it UI, I guess. And let's keep it on the camera for now. First, we have to make it be a mono behavior. All right, now I've got my UI. Let's go scripts, UI. And what we're going to do, we're going to have the, okay, so we're going to have the game object, the context menu UI, which I'll have to assign. And in our update, we're going to say, let's do it on a left click. So if input.get mouse button down 0, so left mouse button. We're going to get that mouse position. Input dot. Let me think. You know, I'm going to put it on the right mouse button. In that case, yeah, actually we don't want that one. What we actually want to do is make a raycast. Screen point to ray input.mouse position. Then we'll do our if physics.raycast, our ray out raycast hit. All right, then what we're going to do, I want to record the position for later. So let's go vector3 is the context point in the world. And I'm also going to get vector2, the context point on the screen. So we're going to be clicking a raycast. We're going to be doing a raycast onto the ground here. So I do want to get the 3D position of that. Because that, if it's going to be a move, we're going to move to there. So we need to remember that. And I want to get the 2D position on the screen so I can move my little context menu up to it. So that's why we need both. Even though this one we sort of need now, we'll need this one in a minute if you press that move button. So let's see, context point world equals hit dot point. And context point screen equals input dot mouse position. And then let's make a function for show context menu. And we'll pass it that context point screen. All right, so let's see, void show context menu. Vector2 is going to be the position. And let's see, what do we need to do? We need to get its rectangular transform. So it's rect transform. Menu rect equals context menu UI, and we'll get that component. What's it called? It's a rect transform. And we'll go menu rect dot position equals that, oops, position. And let's make sure we turn it on. All right, so that should, when I click, it should move there. Let's give that a try. Oh, I didn't actually assign that context menu UI. And yeah, that's what I want. And so by default, that context menu is going to be turned off. So when I click, it appears. All right, so that's what I want. The button doesn't do anything yet, but I want to be able to left click and it disappears. So right click to make it appear, left click to make it disappear. And I want it to be, if I click on here, it won't just disappear, it'll do the button first. And if I click here, it doesn't. So we need to have a little cutout in my left click thing. So what we're going to do is go, hey, if input.get mouse button down, and this one will be the left click, and we'll get that. Let's see, so it's going to be if not rect transform utility. This is what we're doing now, is we're making sure we only do this if it falls outside this rectangle. Rectangle contains screen point, and we're going to go get that context menu UI dot and get that component, the rect, what's it called, the rect transform. So that's gonna grab a rect for us, and the position is the input dot mouse position. All right. So what's going to happen is, if that rectangle, so if the context menu doesn't contain the mouse, then what we'll do is we will just go, hey, what is it? Context menu UI, set active false. Yeah, so if we click outside the UI, it will turn it off. All right, let's get that going. Now before I do, let's make sure on my camera that context menu UI is my context menu. And let's set that context menu to be turned off by default. All right, so I want to click here to move, and I get that. I click left click outside. I can right click, right click, right click, right click, and move that to different positions because no decision's being made yet. If I click in here, it's not disappearing. So I'm going to make sure I still catch these button presses, and I can turn it off. All right, that's quite good. Let's make the button do something, shall we? So what I'm going to do is on context. Yeah, I think I'll make it more happy on context. Move to. And if that happens, what we're going to do is we're going to have our selected player. So game object selected character, not player, I think. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to pass this world position to that character as a move. And before I can do that, I need to actually have a class on my character that can receive that. So let's do that, shall we? So let's go back to our character. All right, so our character, and we're just going to go and add a component. And I'm going to call it, see, character mover. So this will be the one you call when you just want to tell him to move. All right, so I've got my character mover. Let's put that in scripts. Yes, I do. All right. So for this one, what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to be giving it positions to move to first. So public vector3 move target, and then we're going to want to be able to play with his speed. Say 5F and public float rotation speed. Let's make it 10F, and we need to reference his animator. Make it anim. All right, so at the very start, let's just go anim equals get component animator. And at the start, let's set that move target to his current position. All right, so let me think. So let's get a we're not going to be moving up and down. We're just going to have really basic just forward movement and turning to face it. So let's go vector 3 direction equals our move target minus our current position. And let's flatten our rotation. So direction y equals 0. All right, so if direction dot magnitude is greater than 0.1f, because I do want to have like a cutoff on that, we're going to say vector 3 move equals direction dot normalized, our normalized direction speed times time dot dow time. And let's move. Component character controller. So we make use of the Unity character controller to do all our physics and the actual pushing around. Let's say it's got a function called move, and we just pass it that. And for our rotation, we're going to go quaternion target rotation equals quaternion look rotation and look in that direction. And then we'll just do the rotation. Transform.rotation equals quaternion, and we'll slurp it. Transform.rotation, target rotation, rotation speed multiplied by time dot delta time. Now, if you don't know what slurp is, what that does is it basically will do a little bit of a move every time. So here's where we are, here's where we want to be, and basically we're going to turn it this amount, and it will work out. It will do like, I think slurp does like an S shape. I think it's, slurp does an S shape, lerp does a linear one. I think that's right. I can never remember the difference. I just got in the hang of using lerp. And for the animator, what we're going to do is an anim, and we're going to just set a float, which we haven't added yet, called speed, and pass that our direction dot magnitude. So all we're doing is choosing, is he going to be walking or not walking at the moment. And now finally, we're going to have that public, let's see, void set move target, and that's going to take a vector 3 called new target, and we're just going to go move target equals new target. So that's the one that's going to get called from our camera, from our UI. All right, so this will move him forward, this will handle his turning, and this will update the animator so he looks pretty as he walks. Let's give that a go. Now, I haven't added the character controller yet, so we do have to go and add a character controller. And I feel like that should be first. All right, let's make sure it actually lines up with our dude. All right, so let's see, move the center up a little bit. I think the height's going to be, what, 1.7? Maybe 1.6. That's it. Let's give him a bit of headroom. And make that radius in a bit. There we go. So he's got a nice character controller thingo there. All right, let's go to, first we have to fix up that animator. So in our animation controller, we're going to add a parameter, a float called speed. And so what we're going to do, we're going to walk with 2 L's. I didn't do that. All right, so just for our transitions, we're going to have no exit time, and we're going to transition on when speed is, we're going to go to stand when speed is less than 0.1. So we're not going to have like slow walks and fast walks. It's going to be really simple. It's just going to be walk and not walk, because this is not what we're working on right now. I just want to get some basic stuff going. All right, so turn off the exit time, and we're going to do it when speed is greater than 0.1. All right, yep. less than 0.1, greater than 0.1. All right, one more thing we need to do, and that is go to our camera, find our UI. Oh, we haven't added that user, the player. So go to UI, and not selected character. Sorry, it should be public, and let's actually have it be the car mover for the selected character. And then we can go selected character dot move to, and the place we're moving to is that context point world that was recorded when we clicked. Context point world. Car mover does not contain a definition for move to. Car mover, what do I call it? Set move target. So now when I click and say move to, okay, so what have I got? Here it says the variable code of UI has not been assigned. Oh, did I not? I feel like, yes, for some reason I've put a UI on this plane, which is that's what's causing all the errors. All right, sorry about that. Don't know when I did that. It's a bit of stupidity. All right, let's try again. All right, context menu. All right, so that's all working, but my move to button's not working. So let's go have a look at my button and make sure I've got that. So this one on context move to should be public so I can see it from my button. Thanks to everyone who shouted that out. All right, main camera, we've got UI, and we've got on context move to. And that's what we're just calling it. We don't have to send the position or anything because the UI already knows that. So now when I right click and say move to, he moves to it. And it's not beautiful or anything yet, but at least I've got the guy can walk around. He can move from here to there. Oh, I should have that disappear when I say that, when I click that. So then let's go and just set that to false. All right, move to. He turns a bit quickly. Let's go and alter that a little bit. So his rotation speed is 10. Let's make it 2. That's way too slow. Yeah, that's all right. So obviously this is not the nicest looking movement. We can make all that better later on. But at least now, when I'm making the basics of my game and I'm making him move over to the washing machine, move over to the shower, at least it looks a bit, you know, it's not just a capsule sliding around now. So that was the goal of today, basically. And obviously there's no pathfinding or anything like that. But this is a good basis to build the next thing. So I've got, was that everything I wanted to do today? So I've got my camera panning. Yes. I've got my character movement. Yes. And I've got my click and move from the context menu. That's it. And so next, what I think I'll do is I do just want to get him doing the really basic stuff. So I think what we'll do next is we'll give him his character, what do we call them? Desires? And we'll have him do things like move to bed to sleep. So when he gets too sleepy, he can move to the bed, and there's not going to be an animation for it. We'll click him into the bed and his sleep will go back up. So let's do move to bed to sleep, move to fridge to eat, move to TV to entertain. So this is going to be the same sort of thing 3 times. He's going to have 3 different desires. And when he gets like he needs some sleep, he'll move to the bed and start loading up that sleep. When he's hungry, he'll move to the fridge, and we'll just have the fridge, when he stands near it, build that up. So it's very basic at the start, but I just want to get the basics in first. So is anything else? That should be fairly simple. And of course, that'll require us to have a context menu. We need to have eat, sleep, and watch, I guess, for the TV. So we'll have a context menu where you click on a bed and it'll have the sleep option. Click on the fridge, it'll have the eat option. And click on the TV, you'll have the entertain option. All right, so we need to get some, we need models for bed, fridge, and TV. So we'll get those models. We'll get the context menu working to add in the new buttons for the different contexts, and can do the things. That should be good. All right, that's what we can look forward to next time. Thanks, guys. Not sure how this one's going to work for entertainment or for teaching, because it really is sort of all over the place. I know I've done a bunch of things there, but this is the kind of thing I do when I'm first starting making a game. You've got to get the sort of the basic, basic framework so you can actually have a game. And so once we got that, we'll see how we go. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging around. If you have any questions or suggestions, especially if you know anyone who might be interested in helping out as an artist, because I'm actually thinking I'm going to take this one a bit further, which is why I'm trying to I want to get through the test phase really quick and get an actual minimal game that's playable, even though it'll have some limitations. I want to get that going first, and then work on it from there. All right, yeah, I've wasted enough of your time. See you later, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen.